In today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips for the much-awaited day when you go back to the gym. Roll it! Yo, what's the crack, my happy face pullers? Your host TiToX, certified fitness trainer, changing people's lives for the better through strength and fitness. It seems like we are approaching that time where we'll finally get to spread our wings like a phoenix and rise from the ashes of this quarantine. You're ready to roar and you want to dominate the iron once again. I'm talking about RPE 100, heavy ass weights. The goddamn grind that makes this life worth living. If this is you right now, good. I appreciate the hunger. However, what you want to do from day one is not necessarily what you should do. And I'm going to tell you why. You see, it's important to put things into context. Prior to the pandemic, you were training really hard, following your program to the T, making all kinds of gains. That forward momentum was on your side, but it came to a screeching halt. My recommendation for you would be to regain that momentum. Instead of chasing a particular number you might have in mind, focus on easing your way back into your regular training, especially if what you've been doing at home is completely different than what you would normally do in the gym. In that case, I'd suggest that you introduce intensity back in gradual increments when it comes to big compound movements. Your CNS hasn't been exposed to performing multi-joint exercises under heavy load for quite a while now, so your neuro efficiency might be a little bit off from the pre-quarantine period where you constantly had that stimulus being practiced many times during the week. I think it'd be unrealistic to expect that you can retake a major lift to whatever you left it. My recommendation is to dial down the intensity and volume for roughly 2 to 3 weeks, as your CNS as well as your body are likely to require some acclimation time to go back to your baseline when it comes to neurological skill. This broad recommendation is for non-competitive athletes training on a regular basis. If this is you, it would make sense to retrain your central nervous system gradually as opposed to trying to hit new PRs from the get-go. My second tip is going to be super relevant to you, especially if you live in a country where you haven't been allowed to leave the apartment or house for roughly 2 months. The first thing you're going to notice when you're back in the gym is that your conditioning sucks. Even though walking is a non-training physical activity that is very low intensity in nature, removing it from your daily life is the perfect recipe for your cardiovascular system to deteriorate very fast. Let's say that you were walking an average of 8,000 steps daily prior to the quarantine, but for the last 8 weeks or so, your weekly average has come all the way down to 2,000 only, which is a very realistic scenario, especially if you don't have a backyard or an open space to pace up and down for a while. Well, in that case, your cardiovascular system has seen a 4-fold reduction in total volume. That's pretty underwhelming for your conditioning, to say the least. But in all fairness, this isn't a problem you should be concerned about, if only because it won't take much of an effort for you to go back to your baseline once things get back to normal. The only question is, will they? We don't even know if we're going to have a relapse later on in the year and the degree to which we will be able to get back to our normal lives. So, if you gain access to a place where you can restart your regular training, you might notice that you are not recovering fast enough to maintain the same training frequency as you used to prior to the quarantine, at least for the first few weeks. For example, let's say that you were on a 5-session per week protocol, and despite training being hard, as it should be, you felt like you were making great strides. Now, in a post-quarantine world, you go back to the same training frequency, and by the end of the week you feel like you're going to die, like your body's super sore, you're fatigued, the last session of the week is more of a struggle, and you don't even have the energy to bring your ass back to the gym. If this description resonates with you in any shape or form, chances are that your conditioning level is not at the same level as it used to. So you might want to spend a little bit more of your time building up that cardiovascular capacity through general physical preparedness or steady-state cardio at least for a couple of weeks. Regaining an optimal level of metabolic conditioning is definitely a smart move to make sure that your recovery capacity matches the demands of your training program. The last tip I'm giving you today is to have a contingency plan. Whatever life throws at you, a nuclear disaster, pandemic, a Sharknado, or an orange for president, you should always have a plan B in case things take a turn for the worse. Maybe it's time for you to up your game when it comes to equipment at home. Look, I understand your level of investment will highly depend on your personal budget and specific goals, but it's not a bad idea to have access to basic equipment in case the apocalypse decides to stick around for a while. A decent set of resistance bands combined with a quality pull-up bar and a pair of dumbbells is definitely a good start. If you were planning to set up a home gym for the long term anyway, maybe this is a good time to spend that extra dollar. If you are more of an iron person, look into racks, barbells, plates. If you gravitate more towards bodyweight training and calisthenics, you might want to consider a set of parallettes, gymnastic rings, and a weighted vest. Although this equipment is going to vastly expand your realm of possibilities when it comes to training at home, I would highly encourage you to invest in getting more educated in all the things that you want to improve on. Dumping money is the easy thing to do, but new equipment will only take you so far unless you acquire a fundamental knowledge in human anatomy, biomechanics, and programming. Look, don't get me wrong here, new equipment will definitely help you along the way, but for you to make the most out of your material investment, you need to develop a basic understanding of fundamental concepts like progressive overload, RPE, multi-joint exercises, leverages, range of motion, anthropometry, and so on. True strength starts up here, and once you have a well thought out plan, then you go out there and execute. A combined investment in both equipment and knowledge is going to put you at ease if something catastrophic happens again and you can't go to the gym. Because in the off chance of a similar scenario, now you're gonna have both the mental and the physical tools to keep making progress. And sure, you might have to readjust your short-term goals a little bit, but at least you're gonna have the confidence that your plan will work because now you know what you're doing. Alright, that's a wrap up. That's all I wanted to share with you today. If you found value in this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and all that jazz. And now I'm gonna go to... Well, actually, I'm not gonna go anywhere because I can't. So, fucking quarantine! I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, stay strong. Peace.